Hello, I'm Toycat and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be talking about time in Minecraft. Time in Minecraft is something everyone has some form of idea about, whether it's looking at the sun and working out it's about a tenth of the way through the day right now, or whether it's having a clock and having a little bit more precise for time. Everyone knows something about the time in Minecraft, but the game itself can't tell you everything you need to know, and that's where today's video comes in, because I'm going to be telling you 5 fun facts you might not have previously known about time in Minecraft. So hopefully you do all enjoy the video. If you do, please do like it and let me know, because it does help out the channel a lot, and it does let me know you like it. I'm going to see more stuff like this. And a quick note before we start is that I wanted to do this video as fast as possible to fit the whole time theme, but I realized if I spoke any faster, I'd probably just break the sound barrier and make a sonic boom, because enough people don't understand me as it is. So, yeah, with that said, let's move straight into the first fun fact you might not have known, which is to do with the day-night cycle. So most people assume, because the sun and the moon are like opposite each other and seem to go through the sky at roughly the same speed, that, the day-night cycles are roughly the same amount of time. Let's say, 12 minutes each, or 20 minutes each, or whatever it is. But the truth is, the day-night cycle is actually balanced in favor of the day, because a day is 10 minutes long and a night is 7 minutes long. That's real-world time, not in-game time, which means that, as a day progresses, you actually have more time in the day than you do in the night. So how does this work, and why is a day 17 minutes long? So the truth is, a day isn't 17 minutes long. A day is 24,000 ticks long, and there's 20 ticks in a second, which means that's 20 minutes long, and the extra, 1.5 minutes on each time, because you might be like, so where does that go? Basically, between the day and the night, there is a dawn and there is a dusk. At dusk, the light slowly gets darker until night happens, and then the dawn, the light slowly gets, lighter until day happens. So the reason this is significant is because during those periods, mobs will stop spawning or they'll start burning, and basically it just means that if you like daytime, you've got slightly longer in the day, in fact, about a third longer than you do have a bit of nighttime. So something interesting that you might not have known, day is longer than night in Minecraft. It's not immediately obvious, but it is kind of cool. And also, the game, even though it's 20 minutes, which seems a bit bizarre, it's actually 24 1,000 tick hours, which are roughly, like 40 seconds, because there are 20 ticks in a second, and these ticks are really important because they determine a lot of things, including the time, but we'll come back to that later. So yeah, just bear in mind, an hour a day is 24,000 ticks, which is 20 minutes, and that a day is longer than a night. So that's the first fun fact you might not know. The second fun fact is actually to do with going to sleep. So if we do, set the time to night, and then we do go to bed, what you might assume is that when you, also we need to turn daylight cycle on. One thing you might actually, assume about going to sleep is that it just, it speeds you through the night all the way to the day. So, the bed doesn't work exactly how it's advertised. I mean, in theory, yeah, you can argue that way, but all of the ticks which happen between, when you go to sleep and when you wake up, so right now, we're going to skip about 10,000 ticks, something like that. All of those ticks don't happen, you just skip right past them. And why is this significant? So, if it did work how sleeping in the real world worked, which is, you actually went to sleep, all the time passed, and then you woke up, then stuff like, mobs would grow up, during the time you're asleep, plants would grow, sugarcane would grow, lightning could strike if it's thundering, all that stuff could happen while you're sleeping, and you'd wake up to a slightly different world. I assume, because it's easier, and because maybe there could be consistency issues, when you go to sleep, you don't actually, sleep through the night, you skip straight to day. So, beds aren't actually just a tool for you to go to sleep at night in Minecraft, they're actually a tool for you to, commit a magic spell, and actually just magically skip through to day. So, something fun you might not have known, when you sleep, you're not actually sleeping, you're just skipping through to the day, which, again, might not have known about. So, third fun fact about time in Minecraft you might not have known is actually to do with the clock in the nether and the end. So I'm just going to show you the nether because it's exactly the same as the end. So this is something that doesn't come up too often because most people don't use clocks in Minecraft, but if you ever use a clock in the nether, because there is no time here, it just doesn't know what to do, and obviously you can see right here, it's just like, and it's spinning around like crazy. There is no time in the nether, there is no time in the end, there is no daylight cycle here, so there's nothing for it to lock onto. By the same logic, if you look at a compass, it's just spinning around like crazy because there's no spawn point in the nether, you spawn in the overworld. So just some fun facts you might not have known. The clock doesn't properly work, and time in general doesn't properly work while you are in the nether. Although if you're in a multiplayer game and someone's loaded up the overworld, it will still run like normal. Your death time will still go like that. But when you're not in the nether is basically not existing, and when you're not in the overworld, the same is true there, which is an interesting little fact you might have known. So let's eat a golden carrot as we go back to the overworld, and let's talk about fun fact number 4 you might not have known about Minecraft time, and this is more specific to ticks because it's how redstone and ticks actually work together. Because basically, like I mentioned, every single piece of game logic in the game is tied to ticks, whether it's growing crops, whether it's mobs growing up, all these different things. But interestingly enough, redstone ties to tick in a slightly different way, because there's a thing called redstone ticks which take 0.1 seconds. So every 2 in-game ticks, a redstone tick happens. So yeah, this is significant because it means you can work out exactly how much in-game time it would take for redstone to happen. It's also more significant, 0.5. But yeah, so basically, if we have right here, a pathway with a redstone repeater. This is 0.1 ticks, and then every 10 redstone takes 0.1 ticks too. So if this was to race, for instance, my 20 redstone versus the 0.4 repeater, I could have a lot of redstone before it even catches up to that, and that's a fun fact you might not know. So all of this, if we have 30 of this right here, and it leads just to the same point, I think that's about right. Yeah, like that. Then this would actually light up at the same time as a repeater on 3, which doesn't seem like it makes too much sense, but that's how it works. So if I slow this down really quick, you actually will be able to see the redstone slowly goes through, and that's how that works. So anyway, yeah, that's redstone works every 2 ticks, and that's kind of important because the fact that it's tied to the game logic means that, one, you can work out exactly how long something will take. If you need something to happen, you saw that in my worst redstone builds ever. I had it so it took exactly an hour for a redstone door to open. You can do that by having 9,000 repeaters all set to max, but you can also do something much simpler, like if you want something to happen exactly every 12 seconds, you just need to have, let's say, 30 repeaters set to 0.4 ticks, or you can have a lot of single redstone bursts. I guess that'd be like 1,200 redstone dust. Wouldn't recommend that one, but yeah, that's something you can do. You can use this to make exact time, and it's also really significant for point number 5. I mean, redstone ticks being every 0.1 seconds, it's important, but it's not too important until you realize you can change the speed of ticks, or not necessarily that you'd want to, but basically the speed of ticks can change. So there's 2 ways you can change the speed of ticks. I'm going to have to exit this world to show you that, and basically the first one involves the game being under a lot of stress, because obviously these ticks are calculated by the game as it's going along. What it does is every single every 3 frames basically it works out. Okay, so what's happened? It makes stuff happens, and then it moves on to the next one. But sometimes working out what's happened in between ticks is really, really tricky for the game to work out. So here's a custom superflat I call Sky Village. Basically, the idea behind this, if you do not know, is that you generate just loads of sand above nothing, and then slowly but surely the whole map starts to fill. I'm going to fill if I'm not careful. But you can see there's nothing below that, so just every now and then the game updates and it makes sand full. But as you might notice here, because even though the sand should be falling, the game is having such a big problem with just every piece of sand in the world falling at the same time that it's trying to work it out based on where you are. And there's a lot of weird things to do that. But basically, as a result of all this weird stuff, so we just break some more sand to kickstart some more calculations. Then what you'll see as we eventually go through this is that basically as stuff is falling and as the game is struggling to keep up with the tick, it means the ticks will slow down. So that means that you can actually control, first of all, the speed of the day-night cycle. So if we look at the sun, for instance, you should be able to see it will glitch back every now and then. We might have to wait until some more actual stuff happens here. Maybe let's go into creative and let's actually punch a bunch of blocks so you can actually see it. Because when it gets really bad, you can see the day-night cycle literally tick back every time it ticks forwards because the day has to stay in tune with the ticks there. So let's just punch a bunch of blocks here, and then let's stare at the sun there. So if you stare at the sun now, you can see it's actually going to tick back every now and then. There you go, just like that. And that's because, it got ahead of the game speed, because the game speed is having real problems keeping up with its, 26 every second, or 1 second every second, which means that right now, a second's happening every, let's say, 2 seconds, because there's just so much calculating each individual tick. And that's kind of relevant for the day-night cycle. If you want a day to last longer, you can make loads of laggy things happen, but it's also really relevant for a bunch of other things in the game. So, for instance, while this is happening, plants will grow slower, crops will grow slower, lightning will strike less, but it also, interestingly enough, redstone will happen slower. So if you want to slow down redstone creations, or if you want to confuse stuff, you can do it that way. But there's also a second way you can actually slow down redstone, and the way slow down the ticks in general, and that is by having lots of people in your world. So I don't know if I have the footage around anymore, but basically when I got 8 people into a survival world, it wasn't my survival world, but I joined a world of 8 people. If the connections aren't perfect between all 8 of you, basically as the game is trying to make sure you have the same copy, it means that there's going to be some in-game lag, and it means that a day, which should last 10 minutes exactly, can last 20, 25 minutes. And if you combine the 2 of these things together, if you combine a super laggy world with 8 people, 1, everyone's going to have a terrible experience, but 2, you can have day-night cycles which last an amazing amount of time, longer than 10 minutes. So, just in case you want to have some fun with that, it's something worth, I think it's something worth testing out. It's not something you can abuse too much, because getting a lot of lag basically getting a lot of lag to happen can only happen in a few ways, whether that's, launching a bunch of TNT, whether it's having a bunch of sand stuck at the top of the world, which is, again, it's really tricky to do in a normal survival situation, but if you can do it, I think it's quite fun. And yeah, that is 5 fun facts you might not have previously known about time in Minecraft. So hopefully you did all enjoy today's video. If you did, please do like it and let me know. It helps out the channel a lot and does let me know you do like it, and we'll see more stuff like this. Otherwise, subscribe if you are new around here. I make videos like this every single day on my channel, and if subscribed, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you all had a lovely day. You can see, by the way, like it's all the sand is falling down just all over the place, and that's why it's having problems. But yeah, hope you did all enjoy the video. I also, by the way, I will be doing a Sky Village, which is this super flat live stream at some point, just not necessarily in the direct future, but you'll see it at some point. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.